So first of all, thank you for everybody for registering and joining our scam prevention special. The purpose of the webinar, which we'll go through in a slide in a minute, but the purpose of it is just to spread some awareness and some knowledge to help you hopefully stay safe this Christmas. Anything you take away from this today, you can share with anybody else, your friends, your family, your loved ones, just to help try and keep them safe. So there we go. A few formalities first. So who are we? So we are Control S Limited. We're a privately owned MSP based in Stockport in a lovely stock building that you can see a picture of there. We moved into stock in June, and we've since moved to an even larger office within the stock development. It's a really nice space. We've been helping SMEs across the UK for over 20 years. Our clients range from, single one-man bands right through to providing localised support for multinationals. So we've got a vast array of experience in that. We typically help SMEs across the UK with technology, cyber, voice and connectivity. We operate a fixed pricing model with a proactive approach. So our fixed pricing model incentivizes us to do a good job. Otherwise, we get lots of calls. Clients aren't happy. We're not happy, and it doesn't work. So that's Control S in a nutshell. Who am I? So I'm Matt Jones. I am the technical director. I started in 2001 as an apprentice. My background is highly technical, Microsoft infrastructure solutions, and I'm now primarily advisory, but I do still like to get my hands dirty when I can. It's always fun. I am married, got 2 kids, love Manchester United, whether that's for my sins or what, I don't know. It's not great at the minute, but I'm sure we'll get there. Cars, travel and technology, obviously. So let's jump into it. The outline of the webinar. So we're going to do a brief introduction to holiday season cyber fraud. We're going to go through some of the most common holiday scams you're going to see. I can't go through them all because there are so many. We'd be here all day. We'll cover some of the consequences of falling for scams, and that's not just typically, either losing money or losing your credentials. Practical advice to avoid them, and then some further resources and support. And the objectives are simple, really. We've been pushing this on LinkedIn quite a bit. We've done a few newsletters with it, and really it's just to help people walk away from this with something they didn't know before. So hopefully, when everybody leaves the webinar at the end, you'll have one nugget of information that you didn't know before that helps you over Christmas and New Year. The saddest thing about all this is criminals don't care about you or me or your mum or your dad or whoever. You're just another victim to them. So, let's hope that this can help you avoid becoming a victim. So, overview of cyber fraud during the holidays. Now, this covers so many different topics and areas, and the holiday season in particular sees a surge of cyber fraud activity, mainly because there's much more opportunity. If you think about the audience that cyber fraudsters looking for, it's anybody and everybody. It's anybody who might be shopping, everybody who might be buying something, anybody who might be awaiting a text message, awaiting a delivery. It's it's almost every single person on the planet. So the opportunity goes up, and therefore the type of attacks go up. As we all start to relax, they all start to ramp up. The cyber criminals start to ramp up their activities, and that's why we've got to be really extra careful around Christmas, because this is the last time of year most people would want to fall victim to something like this. Activities like fake delivery notes. So I don't know if anybody here has ever had a fake delivery note through the door, but the Royal Mail DPD sort of, you've missed a parcel, those type of things. People and criminals alike do actually turn up at your door. So this doesn't start online and end online. This actually can start at your front door, and quite often does where social engineering is concerned. Exclusive sales offers. So you'll all have seen these. You'll get an offer through in your email or something similar. Say 80% off for today only. Click now, act now, and they're all, you know, time-based time bomb trying to get you to act before you actually sit back and think. And then missed delivery messages as well. We see a lot of this. In fact, even though I do what I do, my poor wife fell for this. You know, she got a text message from every, I mean, I'd say reputable companies, but you know, every, we'll go with that. My wife got a message from every, or a company purporting to be from every. She went online, put her card details in. Next thing you know, she was all panicky, worrying about what was going to happen next. So these things happen all the time. Now, it's crucial to be aware of what's out there, but also how to take preventative measures to avoid falling for them. So verifying the authenticity of a delivery note can be very difficult because it's through your door. How do I do it? What we always say to people is, if you've got a delivery note from Royal Mail, for example, don't just take it as read and phone the number on the note, or follow the QR code as now they're putting on them on the note. Go to the Royal Mail website, track the parcel through there, use known authenticity, use known knowns to verify that what you're doing is the right thing to be doing. Never trust what you're seeing at face value. Avoid suspicious links. So avoiding suspicious links, you can check them against real world URLs. Okay, so if everybody knows how to get on Google, everybody can use you know, an internet browser. If you go to Google, typically as well, avoid the Google ads at the top, because even criminals can use Google ads. So when you go into Google to verify a URL, just make sure you find the appropriate and real world site a bit further down the page. That makes sense? That makes sense to everyone. But yeah, typically there was a recent case in America where a cyber gang actually did some Google advertising to get their fake website to the top of the search results. They took out some Google ads, which is quite unique, but clever. It shows you how clever they are. And then, you know, the text messages as well. Are you expecting a package? If you are expecting a package, you'll get a text message with a tracking number on. Use the internet to go to that company's website to verify the authenticity of what you've actually been told and what you're actually being seen. Oh, let's go forward. Hang on. So, quick survey. If everybody could just take out the phones for me, please, and scan the link. And let me know when done. Just a thumbs up or something similar when you've done it and scanned it. I'll give it another 30 seconds. David, hands up. How can I help? Oh, hands up, you've done it. Excellent, I love it. Awesome. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, easy. We love teams, don't we? Right, so, just a quick survey. Have you or anyone you know ever been a victim of cyber fraud? Right, so yes, everybody who is on the webinar has been or knows somebody who has. Okay, so this just shows you how actually prevalent cyber and cyber fraud is, and why it's important that we all now continue to learn to protect against it. Why scams increase during Christmas and New Year? Well, we've just sort of covered that, but people are just more likely to be making online purchases, shopping for gifts, clicking on links even, you know, for sales that they won't get elsewhere. You know, they talk about cyber Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's now typically 2 weeks, isn't it? You know, into today's society, we have these offers on forever, and then we're free for a week, and then it's back on again for Christmas. So the actual opportunity for cyber fraudsters is grown exponentially. It's huge. So as there's more opportunity, cyber criminals ramp up. So it's easy to see why during Christmas and New Year they're much more successful. There's just much more opportunity to do it, and the win rate at this time of year. And when I say win rate, I mean, the amount of people actually doing something that if they knew the consequences they wouldn't do. The win rate is much higher because people are typically more susceptible, more relaxed as well. If you think about how we all hopefully tend to wind down around the Christmas period. So some of the common holiday season scams, you're all going to have seen all of these, hopefully. But the first one is the bogus delivery notes. Just put your hand up on Teams, not in real life. Just put your hands up if you've ever had a bogus delivery note for your front door. And I'm going to put my hand up because we have. Nobody's seen this one in real life. Oh, you have. Hang on, who else put their hand up there? I don't know. Sorry, I know Karina put her hand up, but I can't see who else put their hand up. Oh, Lizzie. So, bogus delivery notes for your door. It's bizarre to think that, you know, fraud or cyber fraud can start at your front door, but it's a form of social engineering, and strangely enough, scarily enough, people do turn up at your front door and post these things. And you've got to remember, if they can go around on a day-to-day basis and post 1,000 of these things, you know, it's bulky mail, it's something that you physically got in your hands, something that you're going to do something with. This avoids the email filtering because it's in your mailbox. It's on your door, in your hallway, you know. These are particularly dangerous because they're through your door. So you catch people, I'm expecting a parcel, oh, this is dropped on, I'm going to go and I'm either going to follow the QR code or I'm going to phone the number. If you phone the number, typically it's premium rates, costing you £5 a minute to be kept on hold for 45 minutes, and those type of scams still do exist. If you follow a QR code, they're going to be phishing for your credentials, they're going to be hoping that you enter some information. Again, the way to navigate around this one, verify online. Use your phone, use your computer, go online, find the real site, and, you know, avoid this type of scam. Sales offers, you've all had these, everybody's had them, and we get them all the time. In this day and age, though, they're getting more and more sophisticated, they're getting very, very convincing and very clever. And with before the rise of AI, but the rise of more usable AI, more user-friendly, end-user-friendly AI these days, cloning websites is easy, and, you know, it's becoming more difficult to spot. So again, take your time, be careful, think, thought, process what you're actually trying to do. And then missed delivery text messages, hands up if you've had one of these. You've got to have seen these. Everybody gets these all the time. You know, it's a big one, but if it catches you at the right time, it's all a case of timing. If it catches you at the right time, if you're expecting it, if you're rushing, if you need it, you know, the closer we get to Christmas, the more of these are going to be sent out. Why? Because it's getting close to Christmas, and you're going to need that delivery. You're going to start panicking. As I said, my wife fell for this one, unfortunately, and it's just caught her at the right time, and that's all it takes. Another quick survey, if you all don't mind. Phones out. I promise. This is the last one, by the way. I won't have you surveying every time. But have you ever seen any of those three particular tactics used? Hands up when you're done, please. If you've scanned and. Wait another second. Get some of the people on this might actually be in bad signal areas, because that happens a lot as well. So where are we? I'll just get to that one. There we go. So you can see of the people in the room, a lot of people have seen the different scams that are going on. And that just goes to show you that these are very, very common scams that happen a lot. So one's definitely to look out for. As I said at the beginning, we can't cover everything because there's just so many different things that I've used, but another ones to look out for just quickly while I'm on it. Has anybody experienced the text message? You know, the mum, the dad, I've lost my phone. Can you text me on this number? Yeah, everybody's seen that sort of thing. Well, again, around Christmas, this type of attack, well, let's call it attack. This type of activity is going to ramp up because, again, there's a sense of heightened awareness. There's a sense of urgency when it's somebody very closely linked to you. Oh wow, Lizzie, your dad lost $7,000. Oh gosh. So, well, there you go. The ultimate through something that's it's awful. When you think about it, it's awful. But these people, it's a business to them. This is what they do. This is what their job is. They're very, very good at it. And there you go. So just to highlight, one person receiving a message, falling for it, lost $7,000. Sorry, Lizzie, if you don't mind me asking, do you know how long it took from him receiving that first message to losing that $7,000? Maybe got to type. Should turn mics on, shouldn't I? Or just have a chat. Oh no. Went 3 times. Crazy. So again, this shows you what can happen, but that Lizzie says that it was all in one day. So you capture one person, it's all a form of social engineering, and within a day, they're $7,000 up, you're $7,000 down now. Extrapolate that to how many people are probably talking to at the same time, how many people are actually going to get that cash, buying gift cards, all that sort of stuff. It is awful. And traditionally, what we'd say to you is, we'll get them on the phone. If you get a text message like that, the easy way to avoid it, get them on the phone and talk to them. But now the rise of AI and the rise of voice cloning, which is not that difficult anymore, and it's only going to get easier as this technology goes forward. My piece of practical advice on this would be to have a safe word agreed between you and your family members. And then if you ever need to ring up in a situation where you've lost your phone or something similar, have the safe word, and then everybody knows it, or everybody in your close family. Yeah. Oh, and you have a safe word now, Lizzie. Yeah. So Lizzie just said she thought her dad thought it was her on a new number, and they said things that Lizzie would typically say. So obviously they've done a bit of digging there. And you, Lizzie, appear quite a lot online, don't you? You know, you do your webinars yourself, you do your training, so it's not hard to start picking up how people talk and the things they would say, and then unfortunately target. But yeah, have a safe word that only you and your immediate family know, that you and your close family know, and then easy way to verify without having to get them on the phone and determine if it's the right person or not. So let's move forward. So consequences, well, I mean, we've just been through a couple. Lizzie's dad lost $7,000. I'm sure, you know, emotionally as well, it was quite hard for him. Often you speak to people and there's a lot of embarrassment attached to it. They feel embarrassed, feel ashamed. How did this happen to me? They were so convinced. And the reality is they are really convincing now. It wouldn't happen as often as it happens if these criminals weren't as convincing as they are. So that's really the reason why they're so successful. Not to mention obviously the financial loss, which some people, you know, I personally know. One of my best friends from school, his mum died a few years ago, and his dad was taken for a significant amount not long after that was left in the event of her death. So all, you know, horrible people basically. And banks don't guarantee to pay losses back now. One of the things about the banks is I was trying to transfer some money the other day, and it was only £11 from Santander to somebody else that I know. And I was asked 7 questions by the app on Santander before they would allow me to transfer £11. Now, one of the ends of those questions was you agree that you are going to be held to this, and you will have to pay the first X amount if it's, if it turns out to be fraudulent. After asking me 7 questions, now, what you might think is, oh, at least the banks care. They do, but they care about themselves and their own money. So they're asking these questions not to really protect you, although it does protect you, and no doubt they'll frame it that way, but it's to protect themselves, because a lot of the banks are forced to pay this back at the moment. And what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is ask these questions to put themselves in a position where they say, well, we gave you all the information you needed not to make that payment, yet you still made it, so therefore it's on you, sort of thing. So you need to be very careful when transferring money, and taking money out. If somebody asks you to take money out and then go and buy Apple cards, for example, it's a big no-no, and that's again something that you can take away and hopefully pass on to somebody who will use it. The emotion, so embarrassment, shame, anger, whatever sort of words you want to use to describe the emotions, but being duped, not just out of the financial aspect of you've lost that money, but imagine, sorry Lizzie, you offered this, but imagine being Lizzie's dad. Somebody's duped him by pretending to be her. How must that feel? It's not really worth thinking about, is it? It must have been really bad for your dad, Lizzie, and it's such a shame that happened, but this is what these type of people prey on. The lasting impact. So imagine now, this is all talking about personally. Imagine now you're a business. Imagine you're a small business, a medium-sized business, a large business, and you are the one that facilitates the breach. You're the one that allows, the last line of defense. You're the one that allows them in. There's a stat. Sorry, 1 second. I've actually lost my notes. But there is a stat at the moment that says that I think it's around 40% of small businesses that are hit by a cyber attack close within 6 months because of the damage done to the business. Now, that's the business in itself, but then imagine the person who's facilitated that and how they must feel. The emotional damage of that. So what I'm getting at here is the emotional and psychological impact of becoming a victim is much bigger, I think, and I think it's downplayed quite a lot. It's not reported in the media because it's not juicy, is it? But it can be devastating. And then, of course, the impact on the businesses. So what's the stat? Let me get it. Oh, it's 60%. So 60% of businesses that are hit by cyber attacks go out, or small businesses, go out of business within 6 months, and the average cost of recovery is 65k. 65 grand for a small business. And now you can do, if you're working in a medium-sized enterprise or you're working in a large enterprise, I'm sure you can extrapolate those figures up and see how quickly it gets very expensive. The B2B is slightly less damaging if you get hit as a B2B business. If you're a B2C, the reputational impact can be, catastrophic. Shut you down straight away. Trying to think of a large one off the top of my head there. But you all hear of the EasyJet stuff. I mean, that was just before GDPR, and they only got fined £500,000, I think it was. But if it was within GDPR, that's that could have risen into the multi-millions, even billions, given the size of EasyJet. So just be careful. And now some practical advice. I think we've probably covered most of this when I've been talking about the other points, but we'll go through them again because I might uncover some information. Yes, be cautious when using detail presented to you. So if you get a fake delivery note through your door, don't take the information on that note as face value. Go and legitimise it somewhere else. If it's an email, check the sender address, hover the links, make sure that they go exactly where they say they do, and know what you know. So for us, for example, control-s.co.uk, this is our actual domain. But if somebody wanted to spoof us, they may register without the hyphen. Now, you to a certain extent, you could just register that yourselves, and then you're protecting yourself from it. But you can't register every eventuality, and you can't register people maybe replacing the L with a 1. So you need to be really careful and rely on what you know to be true. Slow down is what we tell people a lot of the time. Never rush through these things, because if you rush through, that's when you're likely to actually make a mistake. Spelling and grammar, unbelievable. It really grinds my gears, this one. Even in today's day and age, you get the ones that are really poorly, put together, and they're so obvious it's untrue. But there are others that aren't. But even the ones that are quite clever do still sometimes come through with spelling and grammar errors. I can't abide it. If you're going to spend time putting something quite good together, at least put it through spell checker. But I don't know. People sometimes they don't. I say these people are clever, and then they let themselves down with stuff like this, really. And understand the tone. So tonality is a really big one in attacks. It's urgent. It's now. It's needed. It's direct. These type of things are designed in a way that invokes an emotional response from you rather than a rational one. And the reason for that is simple. If you think about a lot of these things rationally, you take a step back, take a bit of time, you're going to spot the things that are wrong. When we act on emotion, rationale goes out the window. We're emotional. The emotional response kicks in, and we're much more likely to do something like this. Hence the "Mum, Dad, I've lost my phone" text messages. They are designed specifically to invoke an emotion in someone and get them to do something that if they knew the consequences, they'd never do it. So it's a tricky one. Also, I've seen this a lot as well. If you receive an email from somebody you think you know, but you think something's not right here, I'm just going to respond to them and ask them if it's them. Don't do that. If you receive an email from somebody you know, and it doesn't seem right, they could have been compromised, and then whoever's compromised them has control of the mailbox. So if you respond and say, "Yeah, it looks right," of course they're going to respond to you and say, "Yeah, it's me. Can you send me that money? Can you send me that password? Can you do this? Can you do that?" We've seen it loads, and it's all about people knowing how to react to these things, not just how to spot them. So yeah, if something never sees right, verify it with something you know. So if you know the person, phone them up. It takes you 2 minutes. We tell all of our clients when we're talking to them about their the payment procedures and the payment policies and procedures, verify new bank account details, stuff like that. You've got to pick the phone up, speak to somebody you know. Unfortunately, if it's a new supplier, find another way. Don't accept them via email, because you can't. Yeah, so emotional responses. Validate the authenticity of communication. Now, there's a good one here. We did a pre-sign-up survey, and I had a look at the answers actually last night. Sorry if I've not captured anybody who signed up this morning, but the second one on this, I'll go through it in a second. So always double check the sender's email address. Everybody knows this, but check it carefully. If you get an email from Microsoft.com, make sure the I's not a 1 or the O's not a 0. Those type of things are, taken advantage of a lot. Microsoft's a bit extreme as an example, but if it's anybody on here, you'll all have domains that potentially can be easily looked at or easily sort of copied in a sense. Sometimes email addresses are spoofed, so it might come from Karina, for example, into my inbox, but when I check the email address, it's john@gmail.com. You can set the from field to whatever you want in an Outlook mailbox. So just be careful of those things as well. Always check the email address. Verify the website security certificate. So a lot of people who responded to the survey responded that a padlock symbol on the address bar always tells you that the site's safe. Now, that is a common misconception. It doesn't. It tells you that your communication to that site is encrypted, and therefore, from your device, whatever you're looking at it from, to the actual website itself, that bit is secure. You're communicating with it, but it doesn't mean the site itself is legitimate and the site itself is for good. Anybody can get a certificate these days. Any hosting provider, if you've got a website and you're using SiteGround or anything similar to that, a lot of them now have these auto renewal on these certificates. So you'll get a green padlock in the corner for, fakesite.com, stealmycredentials.com. You'll get certificates for stuff like that, and it's a good way to know that the website you're talking to, your data's not going to be encrypted, not going to be stolen during it going back and forth between you and the website, but it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't tell you the website's safe. Okay? So, I find not a lot of people know that. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that means it's all okay. So just be careful while you're browsing as well. And call the official number. If you've got an issue you don't quite know, just phone the official number. Find it on you. If you've got a problem on your computer, or you find something on your computer, it comes to your email, go on your phone, go on the internet, go to another device, go on the internet. Just verify that what you've got in front of you is actually the real deal. And steps to take. Now, I know some people may think this is futile, but it's really important actually in the fight against cyber fraud and advancing the techniques we use to track cyber criminals, because this has been quite a difficult thing for many years, actually tracking and bringing people to justice for cyber computer related fraud. But nothing can be done about it if the relevant authorities don't know about it. So if you do fall victim, please report it. And I'll give you some links in a minute on where you can report things. And if you've fallen victim to a fraudulent transaction, report it to the bank. The threatening these days not to immediately refund stuff, not to give you your money back, but you still got to report it. Always. If only not to just cancel all your cards and go again. Move forward. So resources and support. So action fraud. Hands up if you've heard of action fraud. Oh, physical hands. I love it. So action fraud, it's the UK's National Fraud and Cybercrime Reporting Centre. So action fraud can't do anything themselves about it, but they do collate all the information that they get and use it to try and help the police and the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Centre, track down these criminals and track the crimes and bring people to justice. So Action Fraud is a really useful site, and it's got some great resources on there as well for anybody who may have experienced or will experience a scam. Your bank or your credit card company again, and the police. Definitely the police. I know, the state of the country, but the police, you've got to report, get a crime number even, because if it comes down to insurance, cyber insurance, whatever sort of measure means you've got behind you to recover from an attack or anything like that, you're going to want that crime number as well. Useful websites, Citizens Advice Bureau. I think they still use that. Seems like something from the 80s, doesn't it? But they have got some quite useful information. The Citizens Advice Bureau on fraud and cyber fraud. Information Commissioner's Office. Bit scary, that one, for businesses. If something happens, it's the last person you want to talk to, but the first person you're obliged to. But again, got some really good information on there. And the Cyber Aware website. The Cyber Aware website is fantastic. If you've taken nothing from this up until this point, take that and give it to your friends, give it to your family, give it to your kids. It's a really good website, some really useful tools on there to help people just understand the state and then do something about it. Further training, NCSC, so the National Cybersecurity Centre's Cyber Aware campaign. Cyber Essentials, if you're a business, Cyber Essentials is a really good sort of entry way to show your customers, your suppliers, that you care about their data and your team. you care about their data and you're taking the data protection seriously. And of course, if you need us, we can also help with cybersecurity awareness, protection, cyber essentials, and much more. So to come to the conclusion is, being aware is the first step. If you don't know about it, you can't spot it, and you're much more likely to fall for it. So spread awareness. Always spread awareness. If you ever come across anything that's a bit dodgy, spread it. Put it on social media, highlight it, let other people learn from your experience. As a collective, I think, well, at the beginning, everybody said they knew somebody or they'd had it happen to themselves, but there's still so many people falling for this sort of thing that clearly awareness isn't where it needs to be yet. So I would share it far and wide. That's my advice for that. Obviously, the consequences, we've been through them, they're awful. Not just monetary, but mentally, physically, can be horrific. And then the practical steps. The biggest practical step, I think, is slow down, take your time, never act on emotion. If it was that easy, nobody'd do it, would they? But it's really, really important to take a step back. If you want to go further, things like enabling two-factor auth. Does everybody know put your hands up if you know what two-factor auth is, or multi-factor auth? Yeah. So we got yeah. So pretty much everybody knows what multi-factor auth is, but those type of things, enable them across all your accounts as well, because if you do fall victim to something like this, let's say somebody steals an email address and a password from you through a phishing attack. If that is complex and unique to the particular site they were phishing you on, then that's where the damage will be limited to. If you use the same username and password combination across every single login that you've got, then the damage can be much wider and much more difficult to stop. The worst thing is if somebody gets access to your email, because most of the time all of your password resets and MFA resets go to your email account. So if you're going to protect anything with a really strong password, do it there. And any questions? Anybody got any questions for the Q&A? No? That's cool. I hope you all found it useful. I hope you all learned at least one thing from today. I'm not sure. I hope you all take something away. And just one last thing I wanted to share with everybody was, as a thank you, if you want a free dark web scan, now you can have this personally, you can have this for your business, you can nominate somebody to have it, it's fine. If you just scan the link, fill in the details on the form, we'll get a scan done, get a report sent over for you, and that can, again, personal email address, a full business domain, all that stuff. You're welcome, man. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something from it. Okay, is everybody happy with that link? Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming. I'll send this out again in a couple of days, so you've all got the recording and stuff, and hopefully it does help you or one of your loved ones stay safe this Christmas. If I don't speak to you before, have a great Christmas.